Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Flugie, the ordinary movie guy, here to give movie recommendations to the ordinary moviegoers such as myself. Before we get started, I hope you smash that like button and hit subscribe to my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about the Dune movie, the remake version that just came out in 2021, not the original that came out in 1984. So this movie is actually a really cool movie. So the first time I watched it, I'm not going to lie, I really didn't care for it. Then I rewatched it just a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a better movie than I gave it credit for the first time. It stars a huge, crazy cast, starring Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Zendaya. She has a small part in this one, but she's going to have a bigger part in part two, which comes out at the end of the year. um, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin. I mean, it's a fantastic cast. It really is. I don't think I said Skarsgård. Oh yeah, Stellan Skarsgård. No, I'm just going off random stuff. And this is actually a really good movie. It's really entertaining, and I can see why a lot of people who love sci-fi really love it. I've never read the book, so I've never been a huge Dune fan. But after watching this movie, especially compared to the '84 movie, it is an awesome movie. I think it felt a little slow, and I think it's kind of what I think with the plot. Anyways, I'll just go over the plot a little bit. So the movie is about this planet called Arrakis. It's a giant desert planet, and it's the only planet in the entire galaxy that produces this product called spice. And without this spice, interplanetary travel, hyperspace travel, cannot be possible. So this universe has a bunch of different royal houses in it. Underneath they have an emperor. So underneath this empire, underneath this emperor, and whoever controls this planet controls the entire spice trade, essentially the production of the spice. So it is definitely a political infighting between the families of who can have this planet or not. So Timothy Chalamet plays Paul Atreides, who is the son of the Duke of Atreides. That's Oscar Isaac. And they get assigned by the Emperor to take over Arrakis and take over control over the spice production. Now, the people who are currently over it, the House Harkonnen, are the villains of this story. They are very brutal, evil people, and they're not real too thrilled about their rivals taking over the planet. So this movie follows Paul Atreides and him and his family taking over this planet and trying to, learn how the spice is produced and harvested, and try to find trying to find peace between, create a peace between these people called the Fremen, who are locals to the planet. Because Harkonnen and the Fremen were at constant war with each other, so they were like, "No, we want to be at peace with each other. We want you to live. We want us to live. We want to get the spice, so that way we can all be at peace and work together." And of course, that doesn't always happen. Well, not necessarily with the Fremen, but it's definitely not a peaceful takeover of the planet. It's a great movie, great performance. I'm not the hugest fan of Timothy Chalamet, to be honest. I think he's a great actor, but I think his acting style is a little dreary because he always has this really depressing kind of look about him. But he's a good actor, and I think he delivers a good performance in this movie. The only real hope that I think with the volume changes, because when it's loud, it's really loud. But when it's quiet, sometimes it's hard, especially when they're talking, it's kind of hard to follow they can be really quiet. So sometimes you're like, oh, I got to turn up the volume to hear it. And then it goes super loud with like an explosion or event or the soundtrack itself. And you're like, oh, come on. And then you have to turn down the volume. Yeah, that was maybe my problem with it. But honestly, it's a solid story. I think anybody, even if you're not a sci-fi fantasy person, would actually enjoy it. It's pretty cool. Some really good action sequences. Visually, it's stunning. I never had a problem with the visual effects of this movie. I think it's really cool. I think great performances. I think anybody could watch this. That's why I'm actually going to give it about 3.5 star. I think anybody should pick it up. It is a little bit longer, 2.5 hours, and it's only a part one. Part two, which is coming out later this year. So go into it knowing that, because it does kind of just end partway into a story into the story, which it was deliberately done that so that way they could flesh out the story. The original '84 movie had both parts as one, and because of that, they rushed through the second half of the story. So I really liked it. I think anybody else could really like it. So get out there and watch some good movies. Take care.